with oppositional defiant disorder, many of the characteristics you notice are behavioral. Students often are argumentative and resentful towards adults. They often blame others for their mistakes. They often have difficulty socially with peers and adults as well. They can seem vengeful and resentful in the worst cases also. The student in my class that has ODD, the first encounter was positive. However, a lot of the difficulties were communication-based. She definitely argued over semantics even within our first meetings. As we'll discuss later, the communication was the greatest issue. My student Lily with ODD seems to see the world from a perspective that's often slightly different than the social norm. She has a very quirky personality and at times communicates in a way that others don't understand, and when they try to speak with her and communicate with her, she often sees it as those people challenging or questioning her. For example, in class, if the students are asked to take out a correcting pen, Lily will actively defy that direction because she thinks you are assuming that her work was incorrect, as you were implying that she needs to correct something with the red or blue pen. The more consistent symptoms of Lily's oppositional defiant disorder have to do again with the communication basis of her activity in the classroom. She often actively defies adults' directions, but it's more based on the way those directions are given. She'll argue over the wording of specific things. Also, her emotions and her frustration level is very low. She seems often to have manic emotions, either very, very giddy, happy, and silly, or very frustrated, low, and sad. Also, the way that she will cooperate and use common courtesy and manners is severely compromised. For example, if bumping into a peer or adult in the hallway, she will continuously refuse to apologize or say, "Excuse me." She will say, "I like being pushed, I like being bumped into," to avoid the intent and the reason to have to apologize. The way Lily's ODD interferes with her academic performance was mostly in the way she was able to show what she knows or to produce in the classroom. She often had the skills and abilities to complete specific assignments, but was unable to present them in the way that was required by a teacher or the classroom. For example, during a reading response task, if a specific format was required, Lily would argue so incessantly over the way she wanted to show her information versus the way the class expected it to be shown, that when it came to the end of the assignment, little to nothing was produced. The way she affected others in the classroom was mostly when her behavior was fluctuating and negative, and the outbursts were more disruptive to their learning. They were more puzzled than disturbed or scared by Lily, but with the plans put in place, this did improve. After I got to know Lily a little better, I decided that the best type of behavior and goal system for her was one which helped her regulate her own behavior. We developed a point and reward positive reinforcement system that focused on narrow goals for her behavior. For example, she worked towards regulating volume, her voice volume, in a variety of places in and out of the classroom. She worked on monitoring her tone to be sure it was appropriate and polite when speaking with adults and peers. She also worked on specific social interactions and the ability to monitor her own frustration and take a time out from a situation if need be. We often changed her goals and modified her plan. For example, if she mastered or approached mastery of a specific goal, such as raising her hand from her seat, she would then sit down with me. We would think of new prizes, new points. We would come up with new goals that were interesting to both her and what I needed her to do in the classroom. The lucky part was that the goals and rewards ended up being not only something that motivated Lily, but provided an opportunity for her and I to get closer and get to know each other better. A lot of her rewards that she chose were to have lunch with the teacher or to have a nail party where we spent the recess period doing each other's nails. And that relationship that we built truly made her progress that much easier. Situations that I thought were most frustrating for both myself and Lily were when I was monitoring or being semi-involved in her social interactions with others. It was very easy as the year went on for Lily and I to be on the same page as far as when and how she could stop her arguments when she was self-monitoring her behavior. However, it was very frustrating for me to see her inability to generalize this skill with others. When she was having an argument with a friend or having an argument with a teacher, it was difficult to not step in, although I knew that she had to be more self-sufficient in this area also. Afterwards, I feel, take on the strategy of a little tough love, and I would sit down with Lily and have a conversation along the lines of, Lily, this person may not want to be your friend or may not want to play with you because of the way you speak to her. Or, Lily, this may not be a situation that others look at you and think that what you're doing is okay because they may think your behavior is odd, strange, or scary. And although this was somewhat heartbreaking to myself and brought Lily to very strong emotions and even tears at sometimes, it really did get through to her. Overall, the biggest and best accommodation and or modification for Lily was giving her choice. Because she was so strict and rigid in the way she wanted to work in school or behave in school, we needed to build in some strategies for flexibility almost without her knowing it. By giving her the choice of how to complete an assignment or when to complete an assignment, it gave her ownership of her work, but also ownership of her behavior. She, for example, in a science class, when we were doing an animal project, she maybe wouldn't have wanted to type the 5-paragraph essay about the animal. Well, she was able to still show what she knew by making a PowerPoint. That was her decision, and it made her more likely to put the effort and time into her work without the increased level of frustration.